All right, we're here with the incomparable Maronzio Vance. Welcome to the After Sets podcast.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
How did your set go tonight?
I had fun tonight. You know what? I was telling Matt, the guy that owns the place.
Yep.
As a comedian, you are conditioned to want to perform in a comedy club, and this is a comedy environment. I don't enjoy clubs right now, but I do enjoy this room.
What's
I
the
enjoyed
difference?
It's not a comedy club.
Right.
I like it because it's not a comedy club.
It's a breath of fresh air for you.
It's a different venue. It's a different setup. You can feel the energy of the performers that perform here when we're not doing comedy. Like
Yep.
they do music here. They do
Yeah.
musicals. Like
You're right.
it's more of an art
Yeah.
venue than it is just.
You're like a real artist. Like comedians, for people watching, we're at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood, Maronzio Vance. You have a definite, different, unique delivery and writing style, and it's like a lot of comedy podcasts will ask you, like, how do you come up with your stuff? But honestly, how do you?
When you first start doing comedy, you haven't lived, and if you haven't lived, you don't have anything to talk about. So you're gonna make jokes about the things that you see, and if you don't have an interesting take on the things that you're talking about, you sound like everybody else.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that sounds like it comes natural to you then. So what do you think, like, what happened? What was plot point one in Maronzio's life that gave you this twist? Because it sounds like that's,
I
Ken
think
Griffey Jr., a natural swing.
I don't want to make up anything, so I'd rather talk about what's going on, something that's relatable. I think the best way to reach an audience is to be relatable. But you can't go to everybody, but everybody knows what relationships are. Everybody's been in a relationship. Everybody's been in a relationship that they don't want to be in anymore. Everybody's been in a relationship they wish they could get out of. They don't know how to get out of it because there's nothing really wrong with it from the outside. Inside, you're like, please, anybody, can I get struck by a car? Is there lightning tonight? Where's the sniper when you fucking need it? Somebody, please. I'm at a mall. Shoot
Yeah.
me.
A
Right?
drunk driver for some insurance
Where's
money.
the drunk driver when you need this bitch? Everybody's sober tonight? So I think that, being trapped in a relationship that you don't want to be in, for men and women, I think it's difficult. It's harder for men to leave, and I only say that because enough women hate us. Like
Right.
I firmly believe every woman dislikes men until we prove that we're not the piece of shit that marketing has made us be. But we've also helped marketing out by being pieces of shit.
It's almost like you start with 4 strikes and have to work backwards to
Absolutely.
3 to 2. Like
Delete the strikes.
Exactly.
You are already on probation when you meet a woman. You're like, you just like my ex. Like, no, but you got a penis and you're breathing, so you're just like my ex.
You
It's
go like this, just because I'm his twin brother doesn't mean I'm the same.
yeah, I'm not the same. So, relationships, dating, life. I just talk. I can't watch the news and take something and say, "Did you see?" I can't. I mean, we got 15 late night talk shows. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And it's not evergreen. I try to make stuff evergreen
Yeah.
because I try to make conversations.
Yeah. You're very conversational. Have you always sat on the stool? Because you sit down.
I just started doing it about 3 years ago. Mainly because I felt like the material is way more important
Yeah.
than me actually. I'm a theater. I was a theater major.
Yeah.
So with theater, it's like you have to justify the movement.
Right.
So like if you walk over here on stage, why are you doing that? Like it has to be intention. And a lot of times if you're just performing on stage, hands are just like, and then you look like I'm directing traffic or whatever. I just want to be comfortable and relaxed about what I'm talking about.
You give off that.
Speaking of which,
Thank you.
we got you an old fashioned.
Can I get some
much
whiskey to
better.
go with the ice?
Yeah. What? Why an old fashioned?
You know what? When I first started, I didn't start drinking until I was like 28. I'm from the South, and
Really?
born and raised in the South. But I had uncles that had
whiskey,
drinking
bourbon.
problems, and
So it's an homage to them.
religious family. So everybody's scared. If you do this, you're gonna burn. It's like, but I'm in California. It's hot anyway. Um, but I never drank. I wanted to be the good kid for my mom, and then life started happening. Stress, children,
Yep.
bills, shitty managers,
Thus the old fashioned.
uncomfortable advances. And then when you first start drinking, you don't know what you're doing. You're just drinking whatever you heard somebody else drink, or you're drinking whatever's in the latest rap song.
Whatever's in the cabinet.
So I went through that phase of drinking old fashioned. I went through the phase of drinking not old fashioned, but my first drink was like a Long Island iced tea,
Oof.
Of course.
which is like,
Everything.
Classic.
you want to die tonight,
Yeah.
right? Let's go ahead and get it happening
Was it a self-made one or one in a
in the
bar?
club. So I went on the road with the last time I had a Long Island iced tea was 2012 January. I was on the road with Russell Peters. We were playing the Levity Live in West Nyack, New York, and I had
That's a long, dark drive.
I had 4 tall
Oh,
glasses of Long
blackout.
Island iced tea, 3 shots of Patron, and then the floor.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you even remember what you had?
Oh God! All I know is that I was hugging the toilet at the bottom.
So cold.
Oh, this bitch, you are freezing.
In the green
So
room?
cold.
In the hotel of my in my
Up
bathroom
there.
hotel.
You didn't have to come home, thank God.
Oh no. And what's crazy was I drank and drank and drank, and then we got outside, and the cold air hit me, and then
Your
I
body
burped,
changed.
and then I was like, "Oh, now I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Now I'm fucked
Did you
up."
get a little bit of that burp?
It's amazing.
Not
Change the
yet.
environment.
Not yet.
Changed my vibe. I went out. I was like, I got to get something to eat. And my friend that was with me at the time, she took me to this diner. This is like West Nyack. There's nothing open.
Right. There's a mobile station. I guess something. Maybe there's a cash.
She found me a
bag
diner.
of cashews.
She found me a diner.
Stuart.
I got a cheeseburger, some fries. I ate like a fry, and I like passed out. And I just remember saying, I'm about to die. And then we had a show the next night. I haven't had a Long Island iced tea since. So I started doing like a food journal of alcohol that didn't make me feel like, oh, we never should have done that. And whiskey has said, I will do right by you if you do right by me.
This is a conversation that you had with it.
Oh yeah, that's why we're talking
You're
right
in a
now.
relationship
Yeah. Was
And-
it?
with
Yeah.
whiskey.
And I'm a writer. I think I view myself as a writer first.
I view you as a writer.
So I feel like a old fashioned is something that Hemingway would drink.
Sure.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Sitting in his loft or
I love
whatever.
it.
Just get in a bar fight and throw his wild cats at people.
Yeah.
'Cause yeah.
I would drink an old fashioned. I feel like Charles Bukowski would drink
It's just classic.
you can't fuck it up unless you don't care.
Well, unless
What's
you
the
put
set?
a beef bouillon in it.
The
Beef
other one.
bouillon.
What's the set that you still have nightmares about?
Jesus.
Take a sip of the old fashioned.
Right. Yeah, oh God.
I think that'll get it to it.
Loosen it up.
Yeah.
In college, I did comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and I was young. I had a lot of confidence. LA took all that. LA hasn't given me shit, but it took so much from me. It took my confidence. 'Cause young me in college, in love with Chris Rock, in love with Mitch Hedberg, in
Yeah.
love with Jackie Mason, in love with
George Carlin.
George Carlin, in love with Jake Johansson, in love with Stephen Wright. I couldn't do no wrong. In love with Patrice O'Neal. I don't give a fuck. Put me on the stage. I got it. And they booked me for a show at the Greensboro Coliseum, 15,000 people.
Who's
And
they?
They had first of all, I should have never. I don't think comedy goes with anything but comedy.
15,000.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
15,000. Don't give a fuck who you are. Ungrateful. We don't care if this is art.
Ungrateful.
Ungrateful pieces of shit.
Not happy to be there.
I performed in front of these people, and they booed me like they practiced that shit in the parking lot.
Who
Because
were-
I'm a storyteller.
Who are you opening for?
No, they would do. It was a step show / comedy show. So fraternities would come out and do their
Oh, I
dance
see.
routine.
Okay,
and
step
then they were
show.
like, now a comedian, and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? Like, get the fuck out! where's the Q's? Where's the Zetas? Like, get the. I'm like, so anyway, I go to A&T. Like, get the. Like, it was the worst shit ever. That set is memorable. I auditioned for Def Comedy Jam when I was 17.
I don't know how you didn't make any win everything you've ever done because I laugh out loud watching you.
At 17, I looked like an embryo.
You were adorable.
I was young. I didn't know any better. There's no comedy scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. We just found out we had rights.
So you're right. Did you go to Charlotte?
I know.
What school were you at?
I went to North Carolina A&T for college. I went to St. Augustine's College. I went for theater. Studied Uta Hagen, Stanislavski.
Is it an all-black college?
Both of them were, because that's the only one I could afford.
Right. And because I've been booed off stage by an all-black crowd at the Ontario Improv. What story I've never told it on a podcast.
Ontario's a rough crowd, dude, if you ain't got it.
Well, this is what happened.
Is that your nightmare show?
I came there first day of football. Just Sunday, I was doing the weekend with Owen Benjamin. Right?
Owen Benjamin.
I know. But I'm hosting, and I'm doing 10 minutes. It's a layup at this point. He just wanted someone to be out there. This is whatever, right? So I'm going out there, doing, right?
Owen Benjamin.
Right? And so doing the shows, and so Sunday rolls around, and I go, I can do it today. It's the first day of football. I got a girl come out from New York. She works on a pole. First day of football. So I go there, first day of football, stripper visiting, tuned up, probably 4 drinks deep. Then I have 2 more when I get there, and then I'm walking to the stage. Remember Clark, the GM?
Yes.
He grabs my arm. He goes, "Watch your language. There's a church group here tonight." I go, "Perfect."
A church group?
Yeah, I go, "Good, good."
For Owen Benjamin?
Whatever. They're there. I thought he meant there's like 12 audience members. So I get up there, da-da-da-da. So I say, fuck. This guy goes, "Don't say fuck." It's a guy in a wheelchair.
At the Ontario Improv?
Yeah, and I look to at the Ontario Improv, where you need every arsenal. This is Rambo, for the people listening. Ontario Improv is real working class. It's inland.
It's a blue-collar room.
Blue-collar.
It makes you feel like you're in middle America,
Yes.
but you're only an hour away, but it's so different from L.A. that when you go down there and your jokes work, you like, that joke really works.
Yes.
It really works.
They like it rough in the sandbox. I like going there because I can say anything. I can go first day of football, stripper drunk, and say whatever I want, usually in this club. So then I'm on stage, say fuck. This guy goes, "Don't say fuck." I go, "Why can't I say fuck?" They go, "We're all Christian." And I look, and I realize.
How you believe in God? You in a wheelchair?
The whole.
I'm sorry.
It's just
Shit.
I'm sorry, but God damn, you go like, man, don't say fuck. You're in a wheelchair. You're already losing.
I'll tell you how. Because what I saw this week, we're on Hollywood Boulevard. I saw a person in a wheelchair having a great time this week, looking at the names at the stars. It's funny you said. Just yesterday, I go, "Man, this is a good time to be in a wheelchair." Because he was literally just like reading each name, and someone was pushing him like, "What do you see?" And he was just like, fancy free, looking at names. So there's a bonus. So I'm up there.
I don't get what.
I'm up there going and going, and so I go, "Why can't I say?" He goes, "We're all Christian." I go, "You're all Christian?" Guy in the front row goes, "We're Catholic Christian." And I go,
Catholic Christian.
I go, "You can't be Catholic Christian. That's like being a taco burrito." They kind of laugh. And then I go, I had done this joke at the belly room
Taco burrito.
before the roast battle. I had done this joke a couple times. Roast battle, Tuesday night's Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Rough in the sandbox. Say anything you want. Call a girl a cunt. Kick her drink out of her hands. Just anything you want. Fucking goes.
You went from roast battle to American Gladiator.
Totally. So I go, "Mark, now everything else to that point is everyone else's fault. Now we become my fault." I go, "Now being drunk and high," I go, "Do your new Pope joke." So I go, "Anyone see the new video of the Pope?" I go, "There's a guy in a bed who's handicapped. He's waving at the Pope. The Pope stops, get out of the car. Pope gets out of the car, raises his hand to the sky, touches the guy." And I go, "Nothing happened." I go, "It's borderline offensive." The Pope was basically like, "Look at me. I'm so great, I'll touch a handicapped guy." Crowd started booing.
You got booed?
Booed. It's a church. It's just a church. At this point, I look out, everyone, it's just a sea of suits. It's a church that someone got killed, and they're trying to raise money for the funeral, and people came after the funeral. So they were already...
You did a comedy show for people who
on
had
the
just
weekend,
left a funeral?
unannounced. No one told us. You tell me that on Thursday. I need to come tip-top shape fucking...
I don't know how you prepare for a funeral audience.
Right.
How do you kill when they just watch somebody
You
that
can't.
was killed?
They think they want comedy. They don't. They want to talk about the person who died. They say this has never happened in comedy before. Clark came over the loudspeaker. Because now I'm trying to dig myself out. Clark came over the loudspeaker and goes, Mark, just get off. And I was like, okay.
Douglas
You got the hook?
Yeah.
Clark
Uh-huh.
on
Yep.
the PA system
Never
said,
told
just
that
get
story,
the fuck
but
off.
Just said, Mark, just get off. And then security had to get me out of the building because people were ready to kill me. This crowd.
Mark, what else did you say? Because there's something.
No.
You're leaving out
Nope.
the turning point of this movie.
Nope. Just drunk saying, that's it. He's like, you better get out of here, man. But also, in my defense, Owen Benjamin also, who at the time, brilliant comic, he was killer. He got off after 25 minutes. He's like, you guys even want to do this anymore? And then he just left.
Where's the worst place you've ever done a spot? Like
Mesquite, Nevada. Only place I've ever wanted to kill myself.
Frazier Smith,
Yeah.
who is arguably the nicest guy in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Frazier Smith used to be radio out here in L.A., K-Earth, if that's still around. But one of the first people that, like, extended his hand and said, welcome to L.A., I won't do anything to you. Right? Nice guy. Thought it was funny. Got me booked for some shows here and there. And one of the shows he got me booked at was at a bar in Palmdale that was doing a car show. And we were going to do comedy on the inside of the bar. And I had to stand in a chair to do comedy.
What kind of chair?
A fucking bingo chair, like a regular
folder.
It was like it was like,
like a bucket plastic one that collects the rain.
Like you got the little bit of leather here. There's a gaping hole right here, so your ass fat can slip out the back, and then a leather seat,
and
metal arm. It's just no folding. It's like school chairs. I'm standing in this. That's the stage.
Come on. How many people were you in front of?
Oh my God.
Chair?
Bar. It's Palmdale. Anybody who lives in Palmdale already gave up.
Yeah.
So you're basically like
it's
drunk.
It's protection for people who can't fucking be amongst the living.
Yeah. The microphone was a kazoo.
Somebody walks in and they're like, "Who's the drunk guy that got up on the chair to tell jokes?" Like you don't
exactly. I'm the oddball out because I'm actually speaking
like,
correct English. You're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And they're all like, "Why are you speaking English?" So, and out back is like people like revving up race car.
Sturgis is happening.
I drove 45 minutes to do 5 minutes, and he gave me $100, and it was the nastiest, most uncomfortable $100 ever. I felt like someone said, "Touch my penis," and I'll give you $100. Gotta touch it? Can I just look at it?
Yeah,
like, no, you gotta rub the head, and I'll give you $100. I had to rub the head of comedy to get this funky ass $100 in 2003 because I was a broke bitch, and that $100 lasted way longer than $100 will last right now.
Is the show still going? Because we could go there tonight. Do a late spot. I'll do a late spot there tonight at 11.
Nothing is happening in Palmdale.
We'll bring one of these chairs. You'll be a step up from 2003.
How about Moondoggies? You ever do that nightmare?
Oh my God! It's San Diego.
Ooh.
Moondoggies is a club in San Diego. Ruben Paul took me to. It's a clusterfuck of beach folk who think they're educated.
You dreaded it for a week, and then you were angry for 4 days. It paid $600, so it was 2 weeks worth of pay for $600.
You basically caused yourself a hernia.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yep.
That may be the most accurate
2 weeks of misery.
it. Once you find out you're booked for Moondog, you're like, fuck, why did I agree to this? And
the waitresses crossed the stage.
IBS the whole time because you're like, I'm going to be sick.
Awful.
I'm going to be nervous.
Yeah.
And as
paid great.
As you're performing, it feels like you're being fingered.
People walk by you. The waitresses the computer was there, and they would refuse to move the stage, so waitresses walked by.
San Diego? Whatever, bitch.
Totally.
Chick in the corner chugging it. Guy over here making out with his girl. I don't understand how you come out to a comedy club in flip-flops. I do not want to see a man
You ain't ready.
toes
You ain't ready.
at a comedy club.
Never. You ain't ready to laugh. You need a foundation to laugh.
I do the Comedy and Magic Club a lot, right? It's in Hermosa Beach. It's rich people.
Never does magic.
They do magic once in a while, but
That's
my
what you call
joke
comedy
to
and
them
magic once in a
is,
while.
why do you have a fish tank when you live by the ocean? Bitch, you live by a fish tank. You're essentially
natural.
torturing the fish. Cause like, man, my cousin, I can see him. I just can't get to him.
Yeah.
Because you're trapped in a jar, bitch,
Right.
Fair.
in the living room overlooking freedom.
It's like bringing chlamydia to a whorehouse. It's already there.
It's already there, and it's the least threatening thing there.
One of the worst sets I've ever had in my life. I know the exact date if I can look it up. It's Kobe's 81 game. I was at Long Beach at a bar. Kobe scoring 81 on the screen in front of me. The stage is next to the women's room, and so when women went to the bathroom, the door opened in front of your face. And it was going so poorly, and Kobe scoring 81, that I just stopped performing and just started watching the game.
I would just do a commentary. Y'all like that? Is that happening for you? Y'all like how Jalen Rose is getting roasted?
Long Beach loves Kobe. I'm trying to upstage. I could have been Dane Cook in 1998. Kobe scoring 81, it was over.
Oh.
Whatever.
Steve Martin, 1980. What reference do you like better?
Stephen Martin, because Stephen Martin's space comedy special in 1986 was the first comedy special that I saw where I was like, I think I can do comedy.
Right.
It's simple. He's laying on a cot in a shed. He wakes up, walks through the desert, and then he walks on the stage into this big open room, which looks like a saloon, and he does like Stephen Wright shit, and it's beautiful. I'm like 11 years old. Stephen Wright's material is so dry, like it's like you got to drink water while you're watching it because you're gonna be like, God, this show was amazing, but I'm parched because it's so dry. I'm 11 years old. I'm watching him. And then I see Mitch Hedberg. 1996, he does a half hour for Comedy Central in LA. It's going to sound like this statement is not going to make sense. LA is a great place for comedy, but LA is not a place for comedy. Like, you shouldn't shoot a comedy special in LA. Because half the audience believes they should be on stage doing what you're doing.
Yep. And half the audience is the one paying the people that are up there.
Right?
So it's industry
and people who think they should be doing what you're doing.
Lose.
How do you entertain motherfuckers who think, if I just buckle down, if I show some discipline and just work on my set, it happens. It's happening right now. Hollywood is shut down. We had a writer's strike. The directors are going to have to go on strike because the writers are going to be like, you're not going to strike, bitch? I'm sorry, we're striking. Actors have to strike. Everybody's going to strike. And then agents, managers are going to get on the phone with their clients and say, you need to go to a comedy club to keep yourself relevant. Are you a
little scared to be famous, funny,
I don't want the
funny?
responsibility of fame.
I get that from you.
I don't want
100%.
I
I
love taking a joke. I love taking a scenario and making it a thing.
Your stories are great.
I don't want the responsibility of being a role model or the face of an organization that's trying to use me to help sell whatever the fuck they want to sell. I just want to sell some jokes, write some books, take some pictures, hang out with my dog, and listen to music and be left the fuck alone. And then when I say, hey, I'm going to be in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they're like, woo! Tommy Frazier, woo! And then I come out and perform, and Nebraska's filling the room. I think Mike Birbiglia is hilarious to me. Mike Birbiglia is fucking Birbiglia and Christopher Titus. Great storytellers. Phenomenal storytellers. I want to do storytelling.
You do.
I have
so
Chris
fun.
on this show. Actually, I meant to email him this week.
Christopher Titus?
Yeah, for sure.
If you ever have, look, it's only, I don't ask for a lot of people. Bill Burr.
Noted.
Christopher Titus.
Noted.
Mike Birbiglia.
I can't get a hold of Mike.
Done. John Mulaney. I don't like a lot of comics. Shock. I don't like a lot of comics. One of my best friends was Patrice O'Neal. When Patrice died, a little bit of comedy died with me. I worked with Paul
I didn't
Mooney.
know that.
Oh my God!
When did you meet Patrice? I met him in passing once at the cellar on the stairs.
I met Patrice at the Laugh Factory on a Sunday, and I went to
In
him. I say,
Hollywood?
"Hey, yeah, hey, I'm Maronzio Vance," and he stopped me. He was like, "I know who you are," and then he told me I was funny.
That's awesome.
Let me tell you something.
That's all you needed.
Sit the old fashioned. Go back.
Fuck my manager. Fuck every agency. Fuck Hollywood. In my comedy career, I've had people that I respect tell me that I'm good at what I do. Patrice O'Neal, Dick Gregory, Paul Mooney, Jerry Seinfeld, Robert Townsend, Paul Reiser, Jamie Foxx, and at one time when we were friends, Kevin Hart. I don't know how much weight Kevin Hart's name carries in comedy as in regards to people say, if Kevin says you're funny, you're funny. But I know if people say Patrice thought you were funny, you're funny. Godfrey,
He was like Judge Judy. in that
Tony
regard.
Rock. I've worked with great people. I've worked with I featured for Christopher Titus at the Fort Lauderdale Improv. One of the nicest people I've ever met in my
Yeah.
life, and I get why he was pushed out of Hollywood the way he was. He's a purist.
Yeah.
He's a purist.
He speaks his mind a lot too.
Most Def, Talib Kweli, and Dave Chappelle have a podcast. I'm not plugging it, but I'm mentioning it because they do a podcast called the Midnight Special. And on the podcast, Most Def says the reason why we were never pushed, Black Star, Most Def, Talib Kweli was never pushed because you can't attach consumerism to our music. Meaning we don't sell anything. We're not pushing drugs. We're not saying buy Mercedes or clothes. We're just saying, look, this is what life is. It's fucked up, but do the best you can. My comedy is relationships. We all struggling. It's relatable. We're artists. You can't afford where you live. You probably have some trauma in your life. You probably have a hard time waking up in the morning figuring like, what the fuck do I
Parents'
matter?
divorces.
Divorces.
Some weekend packed bags at 6 years old.
There's nothing to sell with what I'm talking about because I'm talking about real life. There's nothing to sell about real life.
That's what I love about you.
It doesn't work for Hollywood because how do you make a show about a guy who is trying to heal himself just so he can be in a functional relationship because all he wants at the end of the day is love?
Isn't that what every movie's about?
That's your pitch.
No, it's not.
No, almost. I think your life would be an amazing movie.
I just want to be in a relationship where I don't wake up every day thinking, am I with this person because this is the best I can do?
Your comedy skits sound like movie scenes to me. I picture it in my head when you talk about being in the store, getting your shoe clean. I see that skit happening. I see that scene in
Oh
a
my
movie.
God, you have seen my stand-up.
But I see that. You know what I'm
I've done
saying?
it though because like she's talking about a bit I did. I did a half hour for Comedy Central in 2012. I was also simultaneously writing for the never aired reboot of In Living Color. I went to Boston to shoot the comedy special. The special, I opened up with a joke about how I went to go buy sneakers and I had some old sneakers on, and the guy was like, let me clean your old sneakers. And he cleaned my old sneakers so well that I was like, I don't need to buy new sneakers, bitch. You did your job too well.
That's what
Right?
I'm saying. Like, I can see that. in
I
this-
can see that playing out.
Yes.
That's like
But
a Kirby Enthusiasm episode.
oh, but when I go into a room and say I'm neurotic, the room is like, that's not what we know you as. It's hard to sell me because I don't do what they expect. I'm neurotic. How many black guys you know that are neurotic?
Even more of a reason.
You and
My gosh.
Be
you and
careful.
Q-Tip.
Q-tip.
Is he
Okay,
neurotic?
Q-tip is neurotic.
He is.
Let me say this.
Can you give us a Patrice O'Neal story?
Oh God. So Fort Lauderdale Improv, the first show on a Friday night, I do my set. I come in the green room, Patrice is like, let me talk to you for a second. Shut the door. I automatically got a lump in my throat. My heart starts beating fast. 'cause
This is a big
this
dude.
dude is about to fire me. He's like, "What are you doing? What do you mean? When you on stage, what are you doing?" I'm telling, I'm, I'm telling jokes. I'm making people laugh. Stop. He used to say, "Stop being in love with your genius. Stop being in love with the fact that you can say something that you think nobody else would say. Just talk." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Just go out there and say what you want to say and let it be." And I was so scared of getting fired. I also wanted to impress Patrice. I also wanted to show that I could take direction. I changed my entire set the second show, and I had the best set that I had ever had in my comedy career outside of my New Faces set that I did in 2006 in Montreal. And I have not looked back since. Patrice O'Neill told me to be myself. Cat Williams told me to be myself. Dick Gregory told me. Paul Mooney told me. Christopher Titus told me. And ever since, I just been like, I'm gonna just tell stories. All I want to do is tell stories.
It's my favorite.
I want to do one man shows. LA's not set up for one man shows. It's the
Do it
showcase
here.
town.
We could do it here. So what? That was a big step. What's the next step?
I
In your
reached
mind.
out to Mike Birbiglia because I think my my girlfriend's boyfriend is a fucking incredible special. Thank God for these jokes. Art is an incredible special.
I haven't seen it yet. I gotta watch it.
The new one is. He's a great storyteller and he's a great actor. He's also on Billions on Showtime with Dan Soder, who is funny also. He's a comedian. I just want to do one man shows, man, because the lane for comedy is so crowded. No disrespect, but I don't have it in me to do crowd work
Right.
and then post it like, "How you doing? Where you from? All right," and then chop it up to make it look like I've been killing the entire time. Because the real magic of Hollywood is the editors. Dear editors, if you ever go on strike, I will pick it with that line.
That's the real Santa
I don't give a
Claus
fuck
delivering
about
the gifts.
actors
There
and
it is.
directors and writers.
A little love.
Editors deserve to pick it.
Yeah,
They
Hey.
make bullshit look delicious.
they really do. I learned how to edit during the pandemic. You can learn how to edit watching YouTube.
Oh my god, you learn how to edit by having fucking Instagram and Canva, and
Mm-hmm.
the best editors are people that don't have
Yeah.
anything else to do except make videos.
All right. So where do we find you?
I do a podcast, like I said in my stand up, called Just Killing Time. I sit on a stool or apple box and I just figure shit out. I talk about jokes that I may want to tell. I'm writing a book called Emotionally, available today.
What is it about?
You know, man, relationships and dating. Um, I write about like how I try to find something wrong with women that I have loved, so I don't miss them.
Don't we all?
This
try
is
to
a
do
comedy
that?
book.
Uh, I'm a huge David Sedaris fan,
Yeah, me too.
so it's a combination of David Sedaris' satirical,
Augustine Burroughs, Running with Scissors.
that James Baldwin, and me, and telling my stories about dating and relationships, and as a man, sometimes not feeling like you're enough, and you're always trying to like compete with the other guy that you think could take your woman, but
And you haven't been on a date in 10 years.
that's a
And you're in
constant.
your mind like, there's someone could take my girl. You go, I don't even have a girl.
I think it's so juvenile to
Do you have a
worry
girl?
about somebody taking your girl. There's something juvenile about it, but it's a real thing.
Oh, totally.
But you also like, why am I worried about somebody
I guess
taking?
because it's happened before.
Pride.
Why am I worried about this happening?
They're-
I guess it's happened
They
before.
think they're the greatest. So
I also
pride.
talk about grooming.
Is this all going to be in your book? Because I
Yeah.
can't wait to buy it.
Grooming. I talk about like how grown men date younger women because they're easier to mold and control
100%.
because they can't handle a woman who's had experience.
Yep.
At
or
the
it's
same
a blank,
time,
or
it's
it's a blank slate.
at the same time, there's nothing wrong with dating a young woman if she's mature, if she's been
He
through
wants to
something.
turn him. He wants to turn her into mommy.
And you want somebody that will challenge you, but also understand you, respect you, love you. Say, look, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have that on? That's stupid. But
This is what you crave? I think Gina is what you crave. Because this is an expert in criticism.
I
You gotta be challenged.
It's
This is
called
the person.
critique
I
and
crave
suggestion.
honest acceptance.
He just wants real.
I want real. I want honesty. I'm huge on passion. Like if I don't have a passion for something, I won't do it. Like there's spots that I've been booked. I've been offered the headline. If I don't have any passion for it, I just won't do it. That's why.
Are you scared
Of what?
of that of gaining that success if you were to headline or write a movie about your life that would probably be hilarious just because
I just want to explain. It's going to sound egotistical. I just want to explain myself one time.
yeah.
I don't
And
want to
it's
do this
not
shit.
it's not that's not egotistical.
I don't want to be like every talk show. So you wrote a book about. Fuck out of here. I want to make enough money to buy a house in Michigan or Norway to
You
write
consider
books.
yourself a Nordic person to write books?
This
is the old-fashioned talking. You want to buy a house in
no.
Michigan or
There's
Norway?
an Instagram page that I follow where they
Tiny
always
houses
show
in the
this.
woods?
No, but they show this house in Norway that has like this waterfall next to it. It's a
Traveling.
red house. I don't know how I would not be able to sleep
there.
if there's a fucking waterfall outside my. I'm gonna sleep like a fucking dead baby.
It's glorious to listen to that water running.
Would drown in that waterfall.
And my dog is like, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't even want to die. I know, but you are. But I want to be able to just enjoy peace. I like to read.
Peace.
Listen
That
to
dog of
music.
yours.
I don't want my dog.
How like 2?
He's a year and a half.
Year and a half?
I have a dog. His name is Cornell West Vance. And I don't want to love it.
But you do because he's precious.
I don't want to love it because I know there's an expiration date.
It's the worst ever. Have you ever felt that?
I don't want to. I used to think it was Atticus that made this, but apparently it's not. I misread it. A Mandela effect, apparently. But there's this quote
Dude,
that
don't be
says,
negative.
I don't want to love anything that death can touch. So it's hard for me to love people. It's hard for me to love things. It's hard for me to love anything because I know there's an expiration date for either it or me. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm very careful about what I put my time into because it's like if I love you, I'm going to love you.
Yeah.
And I believe that my love for a human being that I really care about is equivalent to the sun powering a solar panel car. You're going to live forever if I love you because I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you never die. I just can't do it for myself.
I told my mother when my dog died
That
that
was
I
deep.
wasn't going to.
I apologize.
He's deep.
I'm sorry.
He's emotionally available today. He's
What'd you-
he's
what'd you
bringing
tell your
it.
mother?
I told my mother after my dog died that I wasn't going to cry that long or hard when she did cried when she died.
Right to her face, and then
I said I'm not going to cry this long and hard over you when you die.
I got my dog the same year that my mother had to put her dog down that she didn't want to put down. So it was like one life is entering, one
Yeah.
life is, exiting. But the symbolism was I'm watching my mom not want to put her dog down, struggle to put her dog down, hurting to put her dog down. I'm getting this new dog that one day I'm going to go through the same thing. But I'm also like, my mother's doing everything she can to keep this dog alive. And I know that I'm going to do everything I can to try to keep my mother alive because I don't want her to die. And I know it's going to happen one day. And I'm like, her dog is leaving. She don't want the dog to leave. My mother's going to leave. I don't want my mother to leave. It's too much death.
Yeah.
It's too much like, why I got to feel this. To the point where I love my dog and I try to find something about him where if he got hit by a car tomorrow, like, he's dumb.
Don't fall.
Like, I want to find a reason
You know,
to
look
hate
both
this bitch.
ways before you cross
Well,
the road.
hopefully
he's-
that doesn't happen.
He's sitting at home right now by my bed, waiting on
Waiting
me to
for
go.
you.
I took him to the groomer today to get him groomed, washed, anal sack, fucking drained. I come to pick him up, and he's like, where the fuck have you? Yo, holy shit. I thought you were gone. You're back. I fucking love you guys. He's licking me and like, where have you been? I'm like, Nobody's ever greeted me like this. My kids don't even look at me like this. And I'm like, you're going to die one day. I don't even want to get used to this type of love because this is
Just do it.
I think
fleeting.
I want an
There,
old fashioned
take it.
now.
I know.
After, okay, so do you have a website, sir?
It's I
Where
am
can I continue to stalk you?
Yeah.
It's IamMaronziovance.com. I have my blog, Eat, which stands for Emotionally Available Today. I do another blog called The Anxieties of Imaginative Humans. My podcast is called Just Killing Time. I have a comic strip that I do called A Planet Called South, and it's basically about a kid growing up in North Carolina trying to be whatever he wants to be, but people keep telling him you can only be this because you live in the South.
So you're
And
writing a comic strip about your life.
I shouldn't be as hard on myself as I am, but comparison is the thief of joy. And when you live in LA and you see people like getting booked on TV shows, you're like, there's no fucking way he's funnier than me. You can't enjoy life. You can't enjoy anything when you're looking at people that you're like, how did they get it? He can't even read. He fucked the vending machine in high school. What are we doing, people?
In the senior lounge. All right, Maronzio
Um,
Vance, everybody.
can I say this?
Yeah.
I really do appreciate your hustle.
Thank you.
During the pandemic, Mark put together Supernova.
Mm-hmm.
Comics were not making money. Comics were not getting booked. Oh, and Jim Jeffries here too. So two things. One, I'm grateful for Mark for putting together the shows that he put together during the Supernova, right? Comics were not making money. We really found out how frail and fragile our profession truly is. And he created a way to make money. Very successful outdoor show, circle venue,
Loved it.
packed the bitch out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my best shows in comedy. Then he found the Bourbon Room, and then he turned this into what it is, right? Before the pandemic, my friend Andrew Wanta used to work on Tosh.0. Then he started working with Jim.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, you'd be great to work with Jim.
Oh, shit.
Let me get you on the show. We did the Ice House together before it got shut down and turned
Yeah.
into a fucking burlesque show, whatever the fuck that is now. And I worked with Jim. But I didn't work with Jim because I was like, I just want to work. I had just watched, I swear to God, and Full Frontal on HBO. I do a deep dive anytime I study a comic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like study Jim. Like when I say study, like the way I studied Stephen Wright, the way I studied Mitch Hedberg, the way I studied Mike Birbiglia, I like watched it.
Can we just have Jim? Jim, can you come in? Can you just come in?
So
This is already uncomfortable. He's being too nice and complimentary.
I know.
fuck all
Studying
that.
me, that must have taken up 30 minutes of your day.
No, I
One
watched
special.
I watched Freedom. I watched Bear. I apologize. I don't remember the last one, but I watched the last special. Anytime Jim has something, you gave me. I went to his office when he had the show on Comedy Central. He gave me a record of the comedy special you did. I think you did it in London. I have an appreciation for anybody who can hold the audience's attention and tell a story. It doesn't have to be joke per minute because we don't work on commission. The object is to make the audience feel something. Jim tells these very interesting, intricate stories about. He's very vulnerable, even though he may not. I don't think emotionally he is sitting in it because the way he cascades through it, there's no way he's like thinking about the things that he's been through. But like being on coke, talking about it, the stories he's done, the story he told about being held hostage by a production company in London and then getting offered money in LA to do something for HBO, and he took the LA money and then said, well, I'll fucking worry about it later.
I met you that day. You got that. Remember, you and I met the exact moment at a party in downtown at Skylar Stone's house.
Yeah,
when
that'd be
all
right. Yeah,
came
yeah.
Through.
So
That was
Yeah.
that exact moment.
I watch all the specials.
I got sued to do that special, yeah.
You talk
I
about
remember
that.
I remember that.
But I'm watching Jim, and then I'm always there's something surreal about watching somebody you've studied and admired, and then meeting them. It's like, oh fuck, I've been watching this meal on the Food Channel. I'm actually tasting it. It's euphoric. So Andrew Wontuck, who was a good friend of mine, was like, I can help you meet Jim. Not fanboy shit, just I want to meet Jim. He introduced me to Jim. He had an office, nice fucking office. Fucking nice office.
I would like to have that office as
That
well.
office, that office was better than some hotels I've stayed in.
I'll tell no, it was I had a beautiful office, but I'll tell you something. So we were on the they used to call them the Sunset Studios or whatever. I don't know what they call them.
Studios.
Yeah. And so they filmed like at midnight there or whatever. But on my studio, in my studio where they filmed the Jim Jeffries show, they filmed the Cosby show.
Oh.
And I had Bill Cosby's old dressing room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any residual on the counter?
Yeah, look, can you imagine the amount of sexual
ghosts.
What
misconduct?
does it smell like in there?
The
Oh
ghost
my God.
of Spanish
it's like
Fly
being in
Past.
the green. It's like being in the green room at a
Ah,
comedy store.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know it's cocaine all over that shit.
There was an
100%.
air vent that I went to clean, and all these quaaludes just fell down. They were all stuck up there. It was-
Thongs
shit.
coming.
Yeah, let's go to the office now.
So I asked Andrew, I said, yo, I see Jim is at the Ice House. Get me on the show. Because Andrew was like, I think you would be a nice compliment for his show, whatever. I don't like to feature for people just to make money. I wanted to add something to it, but also I want to work with a headliner where when I'm done, I'm going to go in the audience and watch you perform because that's my treat for
You gotta be
working
there.
with you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Patrice O'Neal, Tosh, him. I'm like, I will watch your sets. We did a set. He went up, fucking murdered, and then the pandemic happened. Thank you,
Yeah.
Corona.
We were
Stick
coming
with
down
the
the
team.
101. You know when the 101's coming south and you can see Capitol Records and you see the tops of the buildings, the W,
Yeah.
Capitol Records, and I was coming down and I go, this whole thing is underwater right here, and there are a bunch of sharks that we have to navigate. There's just not even it's the aquarium we're in. It's people just start not getting along. They start eating each other. The snake eating its own tail, and it's just a lot to navigate through the waters of Hollywood. It's
I watch legit every now and then because
I don't think he knows what legit is.
yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
FXO, yeah,
Okay.
of
No,
course,
not
yeah.
everyone knows what that sitcom was.
it
Of
was
course.
the first season, both seasons. It was 2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
Fucking FX, by far one of those shows that they should have stuck with.
Definitely.
But it's just set. I'm watching it play out, and I'm like, there's something. What up, Matt? There's something
Okay,
beautiful about watching what you say on stage be converted into something that is acted out, because the scene on the
Right.
plane and shit.
It was funny though because you do a routine. So basically, the whole sitcom was my routines all acted out, right?
Yeah.
But then people would get fucking furious, like, "This is just one of his stand-up bits," and you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
That's the point.
that's
the whole
gist
point,
of
bitch.
the whole thing."
That's why I began.
It was
So-
a good sitcom. It would have done a lot if we were still back in. If Hulu existed then, and like FX is just on,
It would be
Hulu,
now.
It would be fine.
Oh,
But I
God,
was
yeah.
moved to FXX, and I was still in that mode where I was like, "You have to watch me after an episode, a rerun of Mad About You, and it's on at 10 o'clock," and it was still giving people times and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It felt
Right.
now you look back on it like it's archaic to
Yeah.
have to do press for a show like that.
100%.
I was giving time zones to people.
Yeah.
This is where you'll watch
Fuck
it.
Central.
if you could be home at that time.
But
Oh,
if you
yeah.
at home and
Oh,
you don't have anything to do and you want to watch something that was honest, watch legit.
It's
It was.
legit.
It was okay. So I this is my biggest name drop, but Brad Pitt contacted me and he wanted to find out how it ended. One of
That's
the first things he ever
hilarious.
did.
Wow.
So-
And what did you say?
That was like he went like, yeah. So what would like I know it got cancelled, but what would it be next?
And what did you tell him?
I told him I had a season 3 all written out.
What did you tell him?
Well, I had okay. So season 3 was, and this is a weird thing because I don't actually. I've only met Dana Carvey like for one. So the season 2 ended. If you're a fan of the show, season 2 ended with me getting shot because of I had the gun control routines where I get shot, do this gun control routine, and then I get famous. But I also find out that I was shot by my best friend, not by accident, that type of stuff. So. You know, I've got that secret and all that type of stuff. So it's the next season was going to be I'd become really famous and I was a huge cocaine addict. right? That was the next season, right?
Doing
And I
research.
got my friends, and we were all going to be coked up from episode 1 to whatever. There's going to be cocaine in every scene.
It's like the 5th season of Archer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were going to be watching on TV, and I got famous enough that Dana Carvey did an impersonation of me on TV,
That's
right?
fucking
And I was
hilarious.
like, "Fuck that guy," because I'm all coked up.
Right.
So we were going to go over to his house. Then we had a disabled and mentally challenged person, Nick Daly, who had Peter Willie syndrome on the show, who was one of the actors. Anyway, so he was played Rodney in the show, and we took
Yeah.
Rodney everywhere we went, right?
Mhm.
So we go over to Dana Carvey's house with a dog shit in a bag. So we had a whole episode on trying to find dog shit, going on about how when we were young, you'd step in dog shit
Find it
regularly,
everywhere.
right?
Be on
About
your
once
face.
a week. Once a week, you'd step in dog shit.
Be on your face for a football
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I'm doing
Have
it.
on a
I'm doing it
sticky
now.
Try to find dog shit now. It's not as easy as you think for the
No.
video. So we search area, but we have the guy in the wheelchair, so we take his catheter bag and we pour the human shit into the bag. We get the other disabled bloke, and I tell him, I go, you go up there, you put it on the doorstep, you light the bag, you knock on the door, then you come back. And he went up there, and he puts it on the doorstep, he lights it, and then he comes back, and we all sit there and we go, I don't think he knocked, and then Dana Carvey's house was going to burn down, right?
Oh my
and
God.
The rest of the season was me trying to make peace with Dana Carvey,
That's
but I
fucking
won't tell him that I
hilarious.
burned his house down and I organised charity gigs and stuff like that. I mean, that was the gist of the beginning. of the
That's
season.
fucking
Did
hilarious.
you talk to Dana about it? Was it?
You know what's funny? The funny thing about that joke with that whole scenario is Richard Pryor told a story about how he stole Bob Hart's comedy album because he couldn't afford it, and then it only cost $0.25 at the time
Wow.
when he couldn't afford it, and then he gave Bob Newhart $0.25 when he saw him. He said, "I'm giving you this because I stole your album."
Well, this is the thing, though. He only really should have. Bob would have only got about 3 cents off that. It's the
He made-
record store. Like
made
Bob
money
wasn't
off of that.
struggling. It's the record store that lost that 18 cents of the
We
airline.
get that, but the people watching like, "Oh, that's amazing! He gave him 25 cents. That's such a great story."
It's why we don't have fucking Capitol Records anymore.
Cut
Yeah.
out the middleman.
Not Capitol.
Remember
What was the one on the bloody Sunset? That joke would have worked a lot better.
No, Capitol Records. It's right
No,
here.
that's the record label.
Oh.
No, the store. That was the big store.
Tower.
Tower.
Power Records.
That joke would have crushed if I said Tower Records.
Tower Records.
That's why we don't have Tower Records anymore.
Fucking
it
hilarious.
is.
Are you going to interview Jim? Interview Jim. I'm
I
gonna leave
I
because-
thought I was just doing 20.
No.
I was trying to get out of the thoroughfare. I just went on just before Gabriel Iglesias, and I haven't felt more people staring at me like, what the fuck is this guy that
Oh,
in
really?
a long time.
Is that how the set went?
Oh, the set went fine, but they were doing that. They were waiting for Gabriel.
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty impressive. Gabriel gets up there. He's been like he already has he was in a plane accident like 3 days earlier.
Yeah.
And he still rocks up to do his set, which
real.
I think is very noble of him. I could have a flat tire and I wouldn't have come.
I didn't know. Here's the crazy part. If I knew he was going on, I wanted to hurry up and get done because he has a new bit that he's doing that I fucking he did it Monday night, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
it-
fucking. I'm not gonna talk about it because it's his.
Well, let's talk about it.
No.
You're doing the-
It's his
You
thing.
can give me the gist. What? I don't even know what bit
Yeah,
we're talking about.
Brian.
Oh, Brian. No, I can't explain Brian.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it. So it's
If
like
you come and see my proper show, Brian, I have a husband, a make-believe husband called Brian. That's all I can tell you. And Brian features in my show over the course of 4 or 5 jokes now. Brian's me guy.
Yeah.
So
So
it
you're
is.
doing the.
But it's funny because a lot of people write to me now like, I could be your Brian. I'm getting more gay guys hit on me than ever. So it's very
fucking hilarious.
You're also
Because
looking
you have a
better
great
than
head
him.
of hair.
I'm gonna jump out of here and let
Yeah.
you talk to Jim because
Okay.
Jim is way more important than me. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
Thank y'all for
Maronzio
having me.
Vance,
Appreciate
everyone.
it. Thank y'all.
I'll
I'm a
see you
fan of
next
Jim
week.
Jeffries, ladies and gentlemen.